So, in this episode of 90 Day Fiancé, season 9, episode 4, a boy's best friend is his mother. We are right now talking about Libby and Andrei. Welcome, everybody. I am Auntie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, look, I am not going to be long with this particular couple, but there are some things that I did want to discuss. I think that what I'm going to start doing with these reviews is doing like a little small deep dive into some of the things that these people were saying, just to remind them that they are not the best people in the world, that they have a whole bunch of bullshit that came along with them when we were first introduced to them. It seems like these people want to get out here and reinvent themselves, right? And or re-invent, okay? I'm gonna reinvent myself. They want to reinvent themselves and make it appear that they have been these upright people. And I just don't understand where that mess comes from. Now we've seen over the last couple of weeks where Andrei has been talking about going to Moldova and believing that, Moldova is a better place for him and Libby to live in. Libby indicated in this particular episode that she felt like, when he first brought it up to her, that this wasn't something that she was ready to get into, but as they continued to have conversations about it, she changed her mind. And so now, according to Libby and Andrei, they are going to his hometown in order to get the layout of the land. Okay, she's going to see and check about homes and all of this kind of stuff. In a conversation between the two of them, she mentioned that her father will be joining them in a week. And I'm wondering who the father's going to bring with him, because I think that there's going to be some drama going down in Moldova. Y'all let me know downtown in the comments section whether or not you all believe that Libby's dad is going to bring Charlie or one of the sisters with her, just to cause a little bit of chaos, confusion, and some drama. Now we know 90 Day Fiance, honey, they'll put a spin on this in a minute. But anyway, I digress. And so, she is packing up the kids and on Winston, and I can't think of what the daughter's name is, and they're packing up. They're taking 2 suitcases apiece, and Libby is a little bit concerned about them having all of the luggage and everything. And Andrei is like, it's not a big deal. And so, they get on the plane and everything. They get to Moldova, and the family picks them up, and they're excited and all of that kind of stuff, right? And Libby is tired. They have not received their luggage. It's gotten lost somewhere in the shuffle. And so, that would make you frustrated by yourself. I've never had that happen to me, and I don't know how I would feel about it. Last week I was in New York, and it was the very first time that I had ever had a delay in my transportation. And when I tell you that that thing threw me on a whistle, I know that, flights and trains and all of those things can be delayed. But this was the first time ever, y'all, in traveling that my train was delayed. Now, I'm used to a flight being delayed, like here and there. It doesn't bother me or anything. I don't have like um any anxiety about it, but I think I had anxiety about it because they were saying that they were doing some work on the tracks. And so when I looked at my train and it was just delay after delay after delay, I was like, okay, I could have stayed at Google headquarters. You know what I mean? But I did leave the headquarters and I got on the train. My train was like 20 minutes late. And so, once it's 20 minutes late, I'm thinking, okay, so they're going to catch up. Maybe they're gonna go super, super fast, like the Acela. I don't know if any of you all have ever been on a Acela, but bitch, you be going so fast. But I still was delayed by 15, 20 minutes arriving back home. But I've never like been separated from my luggage. In a way where they had to mail it or deliver it to the hotel or anything like that. So I know what the frustration was, and I would be absolutely wanting to like chillax myself, right? I wouldn't want to be bothered with anything. And so, the family is gracious and all of that kind of stuff. Libby has not um brushed up a lot on her language. And so, she is kind of, you know, she a little, out of it, I guess, because she can't understand everything that's going on. The family has supper prepared for them. They're going to be staying at Andre's parents' house. She doesn't really want to stay there. And I think that, based on the relationship that she has with her sisters, I hope that she is as miserable as possible. That is my opinion about it. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section if Libby is somebody y'all like. But honey, I don't. And I hope she miserable as fuck the whole entire time that she is there. Anyway, the little boy Winston, this was his first time flying, so he's going through a whole bunch of, stuff himself, right? Traveling with kids is not an easy feat. Okay, but we get it done. So anyway, when she gets there, like I said, they're really greedy. They have a party for her and they're celebrating her, with fireworks and all that kind of stuff. She was a little anxious about it because she didn't know what was going on. But during the Feast of Festivals, okay, he had announced that he and Libby are going to be moving to Moldova. Libby says that, okay, and I don't believe her. Y'all let me know if y'all believed her. But Libby said that she did not understand that and what Andrei was saying, right? But I believe that she absolutely knew that Andrei had threw her under the bus and said that, she was going to be staying there. One of the things that Andrei said about Moldova is that Moldova is a place where, it ain't a whole bunch of shade, no backstabbing, no, no war, no, it's all peaceful and all of that kind of stuff. And I said, wait a minute, let me go on back in my daggone trunk. Let me go back in my motherfucking trunk. Because for him, Moldova coming to the United States was an escape. Not only from poverty, but from a couple of other things too. Let's go ahead on and remind Andrei of who the fuck he was when we first met Andrei. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. Andrei, when he first came on the scene, boo, revealed that while working for a short time as a police detective in Moldova, he was asked to participate in corrupt activities by people with powerful connections, activities he refused to carry out. What do you mean there was no backstab and no conniving that, it's better than these here United States? This motherfucker was running and hiding his past. If it wasn't for the brother, that's why he don't like the brother, because the brother bust him out. But we're gonna go ahead on and clear the history up about the bullshit. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. He claims that refusing their demands made him a likely target for being framed. He left Moldova and moved to Ireland to protect himself and his career. Check it out on Entertainment Tonight. In a narrative, he was forced. Mr. I am better than everybody else, with an alleged criminal past, gonna sit up there and point his fingers at somebody else and not the family. When this motherfucker came over here, anyway, he suggests, okay, he says that he was effectively forced out of the police department, off the police force. Y'all remember? How many of y'all raise your hand if you've been here doing 90-day fiance with me from the A1 day one? He suggests he left under threat of being set up or implicating himself unjustly, although no formal charges or criminal convictions were ever made. Resources: Entertainment Tonight, Screen Rant, and Distractify. He worked as a police detective in Moldova. He reported that senior figures expected him to take part in illegal and corrupt assignments. Because of those refusals, he says, he believes he was targeted and felt he had to flee to avoid potential legal setups. he had to flee. So did he marry her because he loved her, or did he marry her because he was getting the fuck up out of Dodge? Andrei strongly suggested that someone in Libby's family may have snitched on him to the U.S. immigration authorities. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember when they held up his goddamn green card? Do y'all remember when they was sniffing all up and down their backs? See, for those of you all who don't know the history, Andre ain't a good guy. He always been a piece of in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You may have a different one. Let me know downtown in the chat. He believed that they snitched on him to U.S. immigration authorities, contributing to delays and complications in securing his permanent green card. Resource People magazine. While Andre did not definitely name the person responsible, most of the speculation, both on viewers and media outlets, centers around Libby's brother, Charlie. He blamed Charlie for the when they was basically implying that somebody downtown to where he lived at in Moldova snitched on his ass for acting like he was all this and that, and he wasn't nothing but a rat, allegedly. Let's carry on, shall I? Yes, I shall. During a tell-all episode of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Charlie himself acknowledged this. He said in quotes, if you're the fucking a-hole that's fucking fights with all the family members, like, yeah, somebody may effing snitch on you. End quotes. This remark, combined with the tense ongoing conflict between Andre and Charlie, led many viewers and commenters to believe that Charlie was the most likely person to have snitched on him. But if it wasn't nothing going on, he wouldn't have had nothing to snitch. Now, Andre, evidently the time frame for him being maybe possibly arrested or investigated in Moldova, maybe that's expired. And now this is why he wants to take Libby Elizabeth back to Moldova. But what kind of life is she going to be walking through? Oh, did she remember that this went down with her husband? Because in case she didn't, I did. She said that she was going out there to see whether or not this is something she wanted to do. But now he's sitting up in front of her family and telling her family this is something they are going to do. He's rolling out the red carpet and they ain't even got nowhere to stay but at his mother's house. Now, mind you, he knocked everybody out the family, out the father's business. Now they bringing the father over there so that the father can allegedly look for some property and all of that bullshit with him. But I hope the father take Charlie with him. And it'd be a whole bunch of ruckus and chaos and confusion down that month. Okay. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. I ain't gonna give them another minute. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. If you haven't already done so, go ahead on and hit that subscribe button.